So we're in daylight. We're not in daylight. We're in street lights.
You can just put the light on.
Yeah, that's fine. So we've just been to see. Well, I said I wanted to go to the cinema because it was like 2 days after my birthday, and I wanted to go and see a film. And the choices were live action Lilo and Stitch, live action How to Train Your Dragon. There are other films available.
There are other films available,
which are not live action remakes of cartoons from years gone by. However, those are the two I was interested in. So we chose How to Train Your Dragon.
He says we. He sent me a message saying we want to go see his movies, and I basically just went, well, it's your birthday, I'm good with either, you tell me what you want. And what did you come back with?
I can't remember. Was that when I said I can't decide, you need to make the mind up, you need to choose?
Yes, it was.
See, I couldn't decide, I needed him to choose.
You were Natalie Imbruglia.
Yeah. Isn't that how I wrote it?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why I said it.
Okay. So that's the history. I'm going to let you go first for a change.
So I made the decision to go and see How to Train Your Dragon, largely because I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of this whole let's basically just like remake the animation. But I'd read articles that were pretty much the usual gammons kicking off because the character of Astrid, there were lots of complaints that in this film Astrid was no longer white and no longer blonde. So I was just like, right, well, we need to go and see that then, because people we've plunged into darkness.
We have, yeah.
Because people have basically kicked off and you literally can't see a thing. You might as well just put the lights on.
I can't even see the light to put the light on.
So I made the decision for us to go and see that because I thought we are going to support this movie because other people are being racist twats about it. So that was the only real deciding point. I mean, I like both of them. They're two of my sort of favourite kind of animation movies.
Well, I mean, our lounge, we have a cuddly Stitch and a cuddly Toothless.
We do. I mean, I enjoyed it. It is literally, I think, pretty much a shot-for-shot remake of the animation.
It absolutely is. The only thing I thought was different was when he first puts his hand out for Toothless, I think they're the other way round.
Yes.
I was watching it going, I'm sure Toothless is normally the other side.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong.
And I think, weirdly, and this is probably a similar criticism to things we've had around things like the Lion King remake, where it was still animation, but it was realistic animal CGI.
Our experience with the Lion King remake wasn't the best for a
No.
multitude of reasons.
It really wasn't. In that, because obviously Toothless was still CGI, but more realistic, I think you lost some of the characterization of Toothless that you had in the animation. He was kind of less overly expressive in certain scenes that I remember, where he's basically having a bit of a hissy fit at Astrid and stuff like that.
Well, the scene where they first meet and he sits down on his backside and tries to smile, like all lopsided.
Yeah.
It kind of, if you didn't know the original, I don't think that really came across.
No, absolutely. But I mean, it was very good in terms of, if you hadn't seen the first one before, then I think there's a lot to enjoy with this one, and it was interesting to see how they kind of did the live action, and because they didn't do a Lion King, so it was basically sort of like real life actors with CGI kind of dragons. I think it actually worked better than something like the Lion King did. But equally, you're not going to miss that if you don't go and see it, particularly if you've seen the original. So, as I say, I still stand by my decision that we went to see this to support the fact that they had the nerve to kind of diversify the casting. And to be fair, they actually acknowledge that in a scene where they talk about they're all different tribes that have come together from different parts of the world.
Yeah, because they've got the Asian lady, the black guy.
Yeah. So it was enjoyable, but I wouldn't say I was blown away by it, and that's my thoughts on it really.
That's literally everything I was going to say.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
Welcome to my world. When you do all the talking and then go, and over to you.
So yeah.
Second.
That's fine. Yeah, I mean the only surprise is
talk for 20 minutes.
we haven't got that long left in the car. The only surprises for me was I didn't know Nick Frost was in it. So I didn't know he was Gobber. I thought.
Whereas I did, but I didn't know Peter Serafinovich was in it.
No, but what I found interesting with Nick Frost was he has clearly watched each scene and emulated the facial expressions of his cartoon counterpart, like almost over the top panto. It worked. It was good, but I just noticed that they weren't particularly Nick Frostisms as such. It was interesting watching, and I like what he did with Gerard Butler, because obviously Stoic is, cartoon-wise, this unproportioned man, and he came out like that in the first bit, and then took it all off as a massive coat. So I thought that was quite cool. There are, if you look on aftercredits.com, it does list mid and end credits.
Please don't stay.
We did. Don't stay. No need.
The mid credits is literally just the
A
landscape.
tour of the island, yeah. Not even that. It was, 'cause you didn't see the village. It was like you say, just the landscape. I was hoping for a tease of a Light Fury. It's nothing that good. I mean, to be honest with you, I would say, yeah, support it for the same reasons you've just outlined. However, I mean, if you're like a family, it's going to cost you 40 quid to take your kids to the cinema. If they've seen the cartoon, I wouldn't worry.
Yeah. Fair.
Because I think it's what you said. The cartoon has the. I think these things they just feel a little bit soulless and a little bit flat to me. It's almost like the cartoons, whether they're in 3D or not, feel a bit more three-dimensional. There's more to it. Whereas these just feel a little bit flat. It's like drinking Coke the morning after when you've left it in the glass all night. So I did enjoy it. It's a very good film, but I was watching it just replaying the cartoon in my head constantly. And I still think Toothless is one of the coolest, cutest characters outside of, well, pretty much anything. Just because he really reminds me of several cats I've owned. Currently at the moment very much Ace, because obviously Ace has got the same eyes and the same colouring. He's a black cat with green eyes. So yeah, it's cool. I think if they're going to do 2 and 3, they've got to do more to change it up and not be just the flat out take the same patterns out of the computer and put a different skin on it, which is really what it felt like. But yeah, it's worth a watch. I'm not sure it's worth dragging yourself out of the house for.